Shock rippled through living rooms when Leave It to Beaver suddenly vanished from the screen. Viewers who laughed with the Cleaver boys felt blindsided, and whispers grew louder as everyone hunted for the one scene that sealed the show's fate. Long before the uproar, the sitcom charmed America with a daring twist. It told every tale through a kid's eyes. Young Theodore Beaver, Cleaver tripped into daily jams, while his big brother Wally pretended to be perfect whenever adults turned around. Their firm yet warm parents Ward and June tried to keep order, but childhood chaos always found a way. Unlike other family comedies that preach from an adult perch, this story let a mischievous boy steer the ship. Each episode beamed out real grade school worries. Losing a baseball, flunking a test, covering up a muddy accident, right alongside happy porch talks and lesson-filled hugs. The magic also lived in its star, Jerry Mathers, who had been facing cameras since the tender age of 2. By 5, he was posing in department store ads, and by 6, he was sharing a milk commercial with Edwin. Movie sets soon followed, from This Is My Love to Alfred Hitchcock's Sly the Trouble with Harry, all before he even reached 3rd grade. Then came the unforgettable audition. Young Jerry stomped in wearing his brand new Cub Scout uniform, itching to bolt for his very first pack meeting. When the producers asked why he squirmed so much, he blurted, "I don't want to be here because I have a Cub Scout meeting." That raw honesty won their hearts in seconds. They rang his house that very night and handed him the role. Proof that a kid who would rather scout than act could capture the nation. With the boy chosen, writers still needed a name that sparkled with mischief. Rumors swirled for years, but Mathers finally set things straight. Writer Joe Conley once sailed with his shipmate nicknamed Beaver during the war, and that single word inspired the entire Cleaver legend. One lucky story from the high seas turned into television gold. For 6 roaring seasons and 234 episodes, Jerry lived inside that striped T-shirt and dragged audiences into every scrape imaginable. Yet he was no ordinary child star. He struck a trailblazing deal that guaranteed him a slice of every board game, lunchbox, and coloring book that carried his grin. Money poured and then kept rolling decades later. Talk about smart moves. Even better, the show leaped across oceans. By the mid-60s, Beaver spoke 40 languages and appeared in more than 80 countries. Jerry could touch down in Tokyo, and strangers would wave, calling, "Hi, happy boy," proof that one mischievous grin could unite the globe. When Ken Boxer asked in a 2014 interview if Jerry sensed the series would live forever, he shook his head with a smile. He remembered filming 39 episodes, flying to New York to charm reporters, then to Chicago to woo ad buyers, all while never knowing if another season would come. They repeated that loop 6 times, fueled by little more than hope and hometown loyalty. Beaver's point of view was fresh, but it also dared to show parents fumbling for answers. Ward tried to hand down perfect advice, yet he often learned as much as his kids. June kept pearls in place while sprinting from kitchen mishap to backyard disaster, proving that even model households stumble behind closed doors. The wildest plots often sprang from Wally's double life. Teachers praised as grades. Yet once the bell rang, he followed Eddie Haskell or Clarence Lumpy, Rutherford into pranks that would make any mother gasp. Viewers gasped too and loved it, because the show admitted that even the golden boy sneaks cookies before dinner. Production tricks helped sell the illusion. Directors aimed low-angle cameras at grown-ups, so audiences felt Beaver's small stature. Sets shrank rooms to child size, making the kitchen table look like a mountain during serious talks. These clever choices pulled viewers right into 8-year-old worries every Thursday night. Behind the scenes, the crew battled real challenges. Strict child labor rules meant the boys could film only a handful of hours daily, so writers packed scripts with crisp dialogue and quick action. Every minute counted, and that urgency pumped extra energy into the banter you still hear in reruns today. Sponsors noticed the buzz and flooded the studio with products. From cereal boxes to toy rockets, Beaver's smile sold them all. Yet pressure mounted too. Ratings ruled the land, and a single misstep could send advertisers running. Executives began to fret over one particular episode they feared might cross an invisible line, but that part of the story lands in the next jaw-dropping chapter. Syndication may look eternal now, but during filming the Beaver Gang never knew if cameras would roll again next season. They cranked out 39 episodes, jetted east to charm the press, hustled back for a sliver rest, then waited by the phone for renewal news. 6 dizzy years followed this nerve-wracking cycle. The gamble paid off beyond anyone's dreams. The show raced across 80 nations, bouncing from Tokyo to Rio, translated into 40 tongues, and rebranded overseas as a happy boy. Jerry Mathers could stroll through Narita Airport and hear strangers cheer. "Hi, happy boy." Talk about global stardom. Still, while Beaver grabbed headlines, his brother Wally was winning just as many hearts. Wally Cleaver stood at the perfect crossroads of brains, brawn, and teen charm. Teachers praised his essays. Coaches loved his lightning speed on the track, and classmates copied his slick hair part. Yet behind that polished smile, Wally occasionally dove headfirst into pranks that left parents speechless. His best pals Clarence "Lumpy" Rutherford and Eddie Haskell lived for trouble. One minute they planned harmless jokes. The next they dragged Wally into capers that risked grounding for a month. Viewers held their breath every time Eddie flashed that fake respectful grin, because something outrageous was sure to follow. Girls definitely noticed Wally too. Unlike Beaver, who thought cooties were real, the tall teen juggled several crushes. Each new romance tested his patience as he tried to decode teenage mood swings. Grocery store lines buzzed the morning after an episode aired, with fans asking, "Did you see Wally's new date?" The show nailed the awkward art of high school affection. Landing such a layered role required someone special, and the producers found him in Tony Dow. Tony walked into the casting call with only stage work on his resume, but he owned a secret weapon. He was a Junior Olympics diving champion. That athletic grace lit up the screen, making every baseball slide or backyard leap look effortless. Jerry Mathers later joked that Tony gave him an inferiority complex. As Mathers told Parade, he could take 5 or 6 steps running and do a front flip and land on his feet. Imagine trying to match flips with that superhero while wearing Sunday shoes. Audiences felt the friendly rivalry and loved the brothers even more. Dow's athletic prowess soon turned him into a teen magazine sensation. Photographers begged him to pose by swimming pools or lean against shiny convertibles, capitalizing on his rising star power. Fan letters flooded the studio, and Wally posters covered bedroom walls from Maine to California. Throughout the show's entire run from 1957 through 1963, Dow balanced charm with responsibility. He often translated adult advice for Beaver in plain language, helping his kid brother steer clear of disaster. That bridge role cemented the family's believable bond. Life after the final collab held its own twists. When the original contracts ended, Tony and Jerry teamed up again in a traveling stage comedy titled So Long, Stanley, that played to sold-out dinner theater crowds for a year and a half. Audiences who missed their weekly Cleaver fix lined up to see the brothers spar live on stage. Dow's mix of fame and athletic skill opened odd doors too. Sports reporters chased him for diving tips, while film producers pitched roles that let him show off a perfect swan dive. Although he never made the Olympic roster, his dedication inspired many young viewers to join local swim clubs. Off camera, Mathers invested his merchandising income wisely, proving that child stars could finish school and manage money. He also visited scout troops across the country, sharing the very story that landed him the role in the first place. Kids who heard how honesty snagged the part believed dreams could strike at any moment. Meanwhile, reruns kept climbing in popularity on weekday afternoons, introducing the Cleaver clan to brand new generations. Parents who watched in black and white found their own children glued to the same stories decades later. That multi-generational pull built a cultural bridge few shows ever match. Yet executives still lost sleep over that controversial script sitting on the producer's desk. Rumor hinted at a prank gone wrong, tempers flaring on set, and sponsors threatening to pull commercials unless edits were made. The clock ticked, tension rose, and one final decision loomed. The choice that would either protect a treasured legacy or end a prime-time empire in a single broadcast. Fame can spread like wildfire when the camera finds a fresh face, and Tony Dow lit up the screen the second Wally Cleaver flashed that easy grin. Producers knew they had gold, so they built entire episodes around his crushes, after-school paychecks, garage tinkering, and that prized used car that made boys everywhere dream big. When Leave It to Beaver wrapped, Dow refused to vanish. He popped up on My Three Sons, Dr. Kildare, The greatest show on earth and never too young, proving his charm worked far beyond Mayfield. 5 appearances on Mr. Novak in 3 separate roles showed casting directors he could shift personalities in a blink. Guest spots kept rolling. Viewers caught Wally's familiar smile in Adam 12, Love American Style, Knight Rider, Square Pegs, The Mod Squad, The Hardy Boys, and Emergency, each cameo sparking a rush of nostalgia. But the story was about a pivot toward the stylish heart of the Cleaver home, and that meant stepping into June's immaculate world. One throwaway line revealed she was born in East St. Louis, and Ward never missed a chance to tease her about that surprise detail. June attended boarding school, captained the basketball squad, and even studied under Cornelia Rayburn, the very principal who would someday lecture Beaver. Her pedigree was pure upper middle class, polished and proper, which clashed delightfully with Ward's farm boy roots. Aunt Martha loved bragging about their shared Bronson lineage, and Ward once admitted the Bronson clan fretted he could not keep June in the luxury she deserved. June remembered her father as a practical soul who once steered her away from an opal ring and toward sensible galoshes, advice that still made her smile. Teenage June dated Ward, then a farmer's son from nearby Shaker Heights, before they both enrolled at State College and tied the knot. She proudly kept Bronson as a middle name, then welcomed sons Wally and Theodore, nicknamed Beaver, who promptly turned their tidy house upside down. Early seasons placed the Cleavers at 485 Mapleton Drive, but by season 3 they shifted to 211 Pine Street, complete with a larger dining room perfect for those formal evening meals. June lived for social gatherings, school plays, and tasteful hobbies such as needlepoint, cake decorating, and arranging tea roses. Her decor echoed British upper-class tradition, a nod to childhood comforts. Even while dusting, she looked party-ready, hair flawless, pearls glowing, and heels clicking over polished floors. A few early episodes showed her in slacks, yet most of the run featured elegant dresses and crisp skirt suits. Fans still marvel that she gardened without removing that signature necklace. One afternoon, she hosted her club, only for Beaver's runaway monkey to plunder buffet, flipping petit fours and scandalizing every lady present. June's gasp echoed across America, and viewers could not look away. Yet Billingsley often challenged the scripts. If June scolded Wally or Beaver too harshly, Barbara protested, "I wouldn't act that way with my own boys." Co-producer Joe Connolly agreed, then rewrote mischief into full-blown disasters, so June's shock felt earned. Barbara Billingsley's warmth did not stop. When the director yelled cut, Jerry Mathers remembered, "Barbara Billingsley has always been great. Barbara Billingsley is one of my favorite people, and she knows it." He praised her timing, insisting the show hit her full comedic range that later exploded in the spoof film Airplane, where she famously talked jive and stole the scene. When Leave It to Beaver ended in 1963, Billingsley found herself typecast, work scarce, and public interest drifting. She spent the late 1970s traveling abroad, nearly invisible, until Airplane rocketed her back into headlines and opened fresh doors. A decade later, the original cast reunited for Still the Beaver, then a new Leave It to Beaver. Billingsley, Mathers, Dow, Frank Bank, and Ken Osmond even celebrated the 50th anniversary on Good Morning America, glowing with memories that never faded. Sadly, the woman who defined television motherhood passed away in Santa Monica on October 16th, 2010 at the age of 94. Her life a testament to grace under pressure. Yet her legacy lives on every afternoon, as new viewers discover June's quiet strength. The family portrait would not be complete without Ward Cleaver, the steady hand guiding his sons through every blunder. Born in real Shaker Heights, Ohio, close to a suburb actually named Mayfield, Ward survived prep school and World War II service as an Army surveyor. After graduating State College with a philosophy degree, he joined Alpha Kappa fraternity and settled into white-collar respectability. Ward met June in high school, courted her through college, and married a woman Aunt Martha called the Belle of East St. Louis. Together they raised Wally and Beaver, teaching honesty, hard work, and empathy, though Ward's lectures sometimes drifted so high above the boys' heads that June had to translate. Behind the camera, actor Hugh Beaumont brought real-life discipline to the set. A former Methodist minister, he treated young co-stars with patience, turning every flub line into a gentle lesson rather than scolding. Crew members swore his calm voice could silence the busiest soundstage in seconds. Beaumont also ran a Christmas tree farm during hiatus, and more than one grip joked that he gave the best pine care tips in Hollywood. Yet even Ward faced controversy when network censors fretted his long speeches felt preachy. Producers trimmed them down, keeping morals sharp but moments brisk. Meanwhile, Jerry Mathers kept his boyish spark into adulthood, sharing the screen with Dow again in the dinner theater hit So Long Stanley, which toured 18 months to sold-out crowds hungry for Cleaver nostalgia. Offstage, Mathers invested wisely in visited Cub Scout packs, retelling the story of how honesty won the role that changed his life. Tony Dow's athletic fame opened Wild Side Quest 2. Sports magazines chase him for diving pointers, and teen magazines splash his photo beside pool decks and convertibles, cementing his heartthrob status. Letters poured in by the sack, many addressed simply to Wally, and still reaching him somehow. Reruns kept the Cleaver clan alive across the globe. The series aired in 80 countries and 40 languages. Japan even renamed it the Happy Boy, causing travelers to hear delighted shouts of "Hi, Happy Boy" on foreign concourses. Through every decade, sponsors eyed the family-friendly brand with fresh excitement. Yet one rumor persisted. An uncut episode so controversial that executives shelved it behind locked doors. Whispers claimed the plot involved a prank gone wildly wrong, a furious advertiser, and last-minute edits that saved the show from sudden doom. Whether myth or reality, the tale still fuels fan debates and keeps Beaver's mystique alive. Get ready to meet the man behind Ward Cleaver's calm wisdom. Hugh Beaumont, whose journey spanned theaters, nightclubs, radio, and Hollywood's golden age. From 1931 onward, Beaumont honed his craft on live stages. Then by 1940, he was landing small roles in over 36 films, often uncredited yet always sharpening his talent. He teamed up with William Bendix in the noir classic The Blue Dahlia, playing a loyal friend to Alan Ladd's tough guy. Then from 1946 to 1947, Hugh took center stage as Private Eye Michael Shane in 5 crime thrillers, stepping into shoes first filled by Lloyd Nolan. His cool detective work laid the groundwork for TV roles in the early 1950s. Viewers soon spotted Beaumont in Adventures of Superman, City Detective, Crossroads, Fireside Theater, Ford Theater, The Lone Ranger, Medic, The Millionaire, and Schlitz Playhouse of Stars. He even lent his voice to the short film A Date with Your Family in 1950 and faced Eerie Creatures in The Mole People in 1956, proving he could tackle any genre. Then came the big break. In September 1957, producers tapped Hugh to replace Max Walter as Ward Cleaver in the pilot, It's a Small World. By season 3, he had directed key episodes like Family Scrapbook, which fans now call the first series finale. His behind-the-camera talent kept the show running smoothly, but life off-screen brought real drama. Just before season 3 began, tragedy struck when Hugh's mother-in-law and young son survived a crash in Minnesota. Sadly, his mother-in-law died, and his boys suffered serious injuries. Mathers says Hugh often just walked through his parts afterward, his pain visible in every scene. After Leave It to Beaver wrapped in 1963, Beaumont kept busy with guest roles on Marcus Welby MD, Mannix, Petticoat Junction, The Virginian, and Wagon Train. His creative spark led him into writing, selling TV scripts, radio plays, and short stories to magazines nationwide. Sadly, this beloved actor's story ended on May 14, 1982, when he suffered a fatal heart attack while visiting his son in Munich. Yet his legacy endures every time Ward Cleaver offers steady advice to a new generation of viewers. Of course, Ward's world teemed with unforgettable neighbors and classmates. Eddie Haskell, played by Ken Osmond, showered compliments on Wally's parents, only to scheme behind their backs. Ward once quipped that Eddie's politeness was almost un-American, a jab that stole laughs every time. Teachers and friends rounded out the cast. Diane Brewster introduced Beaver to school as Miss Canfield in 1957, only to hand the chalk to Sue Randall's Miss Alice Landers by 1958. Principal Mrs. Rayburn, brought to life by Doris Packer, loomed over kids with kind but firm rules at Grant Avenue Grammar. Gamblers turned to troublemakers like Stephen Talbot's Gilbert Bates, whose bragging soon became loyalty when he teamed up with Beaver. Rusty Stevens' Larry Mondello munched apples and chocolate bars while dragging T-shirt Newman into mischief. and Pamela Baird's Mary Ellen Rogers warmed Wally's heart as his first true crush. Chester Whitey Whitney, played by Stanley Fafara, and Fireman Gus, portrayed by Burt Mustin, added more color. Clarence Lumpy Rutherford, Frank Banks' bulldozer buddy, pushed Wally into every prank imaginable, with his outspoken dad, Mr. Rutherford, played by Richard Deacon, chiding the boys alongside Ward at the office. Guest stars also popped in, and Barton and Carl Swinson played Eddie's wary parents, while Hart told tales as Chester's brother Tasty Brown. Each face stitched the neighborhood tapestry tighter and kept viewers coming back week after week. Despite its charm, Leave It to Beaver nearly fizzled out. CBS first dropped it after season 1 in 1957, only for ABC to revive it in 1958. 4 time slots later, Wally and Beaver became must-see TV through June 1963, racking up 5 hit seasons. This show even crossed the Iron Curtain, making it the first U.S. series to air in Soviet bloc nations. Ward's dinner table suit and June's spotless dress sent a message. Life in America was bright and hopeful. Some episodes even featured hidden Soviet bomber decals on a toy plane, or boys wearing sweatshirts reading Camp Chekhov. Tiny nods that kept audiences buzzing. Yet ratings never cracked the top 30 during its original run. It thrived in reruns, though, cementing its place in TV history. Then came the ultimate twist. Leave It to Beaver delivered television's first proper series finale, closing the story as Beaver and Wally graduated and the family journey came full circle. In 1983, still the Beaver reunited the cast, minus Hugh Beaumont, using flashbacks to fill Ward's shoes. Fans rejoiced as Jerry Mathers, Tony Dow, Ken Osmond, and Barbara Billingsley reprised their roles. Today, the Cleaver family stands as an icon of wholesome entertainment, proving that true charm never goes out of style.